Hello and good day. I am Mr. J, and today we're going to be talking about communication, effective communication, hopefully. I always like to start my classes with a corny dad joke, and today's is this. What days of the week are the strongest? The days of the week that are strongest are Saturday and Sunday, because all other days are weekdays. Ba-dum-bum. All right, if you can take 2 deep breaths with me, in through the nose, out through the mouth. One more time. All right. As lack of trust has increased in the world, many people have become more entrenched in their own viewpoints and more unable to listen to anything that might be different. That increasingly divisive outlook has sadly begun to infiltrate many intimate relationships, making it harder for couples to successfully negotiate when they disagree. Reasonable and fair negotiations cannot succeed when partners are blocked into an individual viewpoint that erases the other's viewpoint. Opinions can rapidly become threats. Flexible thoughts become hard and fast beliefs that are cast in stone. The other partner is no longer someone who simply thinks or believes differently, but is a threat to their opinion and is often invalidated. You know, I saw one time something where it was the number 6, and if you turn it upside down, it was the number 9. And so it was people sitting across from each other at a table, and they set this number down, and the person over here said this was a 9, and the person over here said, no, this is a 6. And they got into an argument. They're like, it's clearly a 6. What do you, and the other person was saying, it's clearly a 9. And it just goes to show you that there's always 3 sides to every story, each party's truth, and then the actual truth. So it's really important that we understand, try to really hear and understand each other's truth, and not be so set in stone that we're right. Effective and successful relationships happen when effective communication skills are implemented. Those skills are flexibility and the willingness to incorporate the other's point of view. Keep in mind, you don't have to like, love, emulate anybody's point of view, but we should do our best to respect it. They work together to fight these biases that they were taught. They willingly do everything they can to stretch beyond their individualized, locked-in limitations and to find new compromises and possibilities that neither had known before. You know, we don't really learn when we're comfortable. You don't learn when you're comfortable. You learn when you're stretched. You know, what do they say? Invention is the, oh, what is that thing? Necessity. Only inventions are created from necessity. If you're not just going to be sitting down enjoying life and say, hey, I got a perfect cure for, I mean, maybe you will, but that's because you're thinking of something. But usually you need something, and so you come up with a reason to grow, to learn, to invent something. So we don't, when we're comfortable and complacent, we don't really learn. It's when we're challenged, a lot of times with the people around us are saying something that we don't necessarily agree with. That's when we're challenged, but that's when we grow the most and learn. Many couples today seem to be losing these capabilities, you know, as they're often exposed to daily divisions and disputes from the outside world. They often escalate to violent eruptions, and they often don't realize that they're treating each other in the same way that, you know, society does. You know, when I'm talking to a lot of couples, a lot of married couples or couples in relationships or whatever, it's very tough because we live in a microwave society. You know, you want something from Amazon, you order it, 2 days later, it's at your doorstep. You want a new microwave, you know, or if you want food, you put it in the microwave, 2 minutes later, you have food. If you're desiring, you know, to meet somebody and have sex, download an app, 2 minutes later, you got somebody at your door. We live in such a microwave society that it really takes people a willingness and a determination and a stick-to-itiveness. And that's a struggle in today's microwave society. If couples have the same political, social, relationship, religious, and cultural views and beliefs, they do happen to bond more intensely, even with those that are family and friends. And if not, this is where disagreements become more exaggerated. You know, I say all the time, and I'll repeat what I just said before. You don't have to like, love, emulate, or agree with anything, anyone, whatever. But can you respect somebody's choices? You know, I don't understand the trans community at all. I don't understand them at all. But whatever you want to be called, I will respect that. You want to transition? I'll respect that. You want to detransition? I respect that. I respect whatever. I don't have to like it, love it, understand it, emulate it, nothing. But I will respect it, period, hands down. And I think if we all can come to the table with more respect, that would be best. Another challenge is our current society. I just said this. We live in a microwave society where we can have anything we want within a matter of minutes or days. And when relationships get a little tough, we simply just are very tempted to trade in our person for a new one, for one less frustrating. Long, effective techniques for negotiation, exploration, and new resolutions are not working in the same way anymore. If couples are determined that if one is right, the other is automatically wrong, they have no way to resolve their differences. So I just wanted to give you a couple steps. I think I have 9 here that illustrate communication techniques that do prove to be successful. And I always say, couples don't necessarily have communication issues. If you are able to talk, you don't have a communication issue. You have an effective communication issue. So let me have a sip of my chai latte, and we'll get to these techniques. 1, recognize what may be happening to you and your partner. Going from evaluating a situation to condemning it doesn't happen overnight. Both partners must be willing to look at what's happening to them individually and together. And keep in mind, this doesn't just have to be in a coupleship. This could be with a family member, a neighbor, a parent, you know, you name it. Both partners, like I said, must be willing to look at what's happening to them individually and together. How has each of them become fixated on only one truth? And think about it. Listen, a lot of times we are the religion we are because that's what we were brought up to believe from our parents. We are the political affiliation we are because that's what we were raised to believe from our parents. So, and that's with everybody. We have our own examples. You know, what is your example of love? Well, how did my parents love each other? I mean, that's my example of love. And really, everybody has their own beliefs. Of course, everybody branches off and adopts their own beliefs, and that's fine, great, and dandy. But just like you want your beliefs to be respected, we have to really respect the experiences in the life and the culture and the beliefs of, you know, those that also come to the table. When and where did they lose the capability to listen and understand that there is often more than one reality and that both can be valid? I always say when 2 people come together to have a dialogue, both people should walk away feeling good. Nobody should walk away feeling they lost. Both people should walk away feeling they won something. That's what negotiation, compromise, and respect is all about. Number 2, understand the potential destruction of your relationship if rigid ideas, thoughts, and feelings replace rational thinking. Vow to become more open to range again. So, you know, let's just say you're not on board 100% what somebody says. Well, is there some wiggle room? You can say, okay, I'm not on board 100% with this, but I can understand where you're coming from this situation. Vow to become more open to range, like I just said, even if you feel threatened in the process. You know, a lot of the times, especially when it comes to the 3 core beliefs that we all have, like, you know, financial, spiritual, and religious. Spiritual, financial, spiritual. I forgot the other one. Political. Lord have mercy. You put any of those 3 topics in a group of people, there is bound to be a disagreement or an argument. Those are some pretty core beliefs that people hold to. You know, what do you mean you vote Democrat? Are you a loser? What do you mean you vote Republican? Are you a loser? I mean, like, those are some pretty hardcore things. What do you mean you're a born again Christian? Are you this and that? What do you mean you're a Buddhist? Are you that? So, like I said, you know, can we find some common ground within, you know, these areas? Or just respect one another enough to not bring them up, especially around the holidays. So if you feel threatened in the process, try not to automatically look at, the right or wrong, the black and white. Try to, like I said, see if there's wiggle room. You can always agree to disagree, but with caring, acceptance, and the willingness to think and feel what it's like to be in the other person's shoes, that's helpful. Sometimes when I'm working with couples and they have a degree, whether it's spiritually, politically, financially, I'll say, put yourself in the shoes of your partner and advocate for their point. And then while they're advocating for their point, something in their mind says, man, they do have some pretty good points. I'm still not on board 100%, but they do have some valid points. So sometimes it's just a matter of, walking a mile in the other person's shoes. Listen, this is number 3, listen deeply without judgment to the other person's views and how he or she became attached to them and why. Were they always there? Are they just more exaggerated now? Or have they become exaggerated by influences from external biases? I always say our brains are like parks, garbage in, garbage out. You got to be very careful what you put in your brain, because our thoughts start affecting our beliefs start affecting our behavior starts affecting our character, yada, yada. Number 4, look for similarities in how each of you is defending your point of view and why. What is driving each of you to become so locked in seeing the things only one way or your way? Look for what similar thoughts and feelings you both have that may be making you afraid to let go of what you believe in, and how rigidity may be driving you apart. So again, I don't care if it's political, financial, spiritual, what are some of the things that are driving you? I was talking to this couple yesterday, not from PBT, male-female couple, and I was telling the wife, society, genetically, biologically, for the most part, I don't want to paint a broad brush, men are designed for the 2 Ps, provision and protection. So, the wife kept saying, well, he prioritizes his work. And I was like, well, can you think of it as, because work allows him to provide for his family, he prioritizes his family, and he prioritizes his family by working so much so he can provide for them. So, so again, just trying to go a little deeper and understand. Number 5, imagine your partner's feelings and state of mind as they are experiencing your blind condemnations. Are you willing to risk losing the relationship by being unable to move off of your position? Is winning more important than connecting? I always say all the time, when you go to the table, the discussion table with whomever, is your priority to be right or happy? Number 6, open your heart and mind to what makes sense to the other partner's point of view and agree whenever you possibly can with them. Again, let's just say you guys are talking politically. One's a Democrat, one's a Republican, one's a conservative, one's a liberal. It doesn't matter. Okay, I don't agree with A, B, and C, but you know what? On D, yeah, we do have the same things, So, okay, we both can understand, from that level where things are similar. We have the same understanding. We have the same core beliefs. Number 7, change goals from power, control, dominance, rigidity, righteousness, stubbornness, and switch them to compassion. Collaboration, mutually chosen solutions, and the desire to become a team again is the goal. I always say, when people are together, especially in a couple, but it doesn't matter, it could be your neighbor, your sibling, your parents, you name it, your boss, try together attacking issues rather than using issues to attack one another. Number 8, create new mutually agreed upon set of attitudes and beliefs and incorporate both of them into your thoughts and feelings as much as you can. Commit to challenging your limitations and embracing your partner's orientation to seek your own more flexible transformation. And number 9, which is the last one, check in regularly with each other to keep this new collaboration alive, and especially as more challenges arise. Couples, a lot of times, all relationships, I don't care if it's your boss, your sibling, your parents, but especially if you're a couple, a partner, a significant romantic spouse, what have you, life has a tendency of just pulling you apart. I mean, you watch TVs and it's all about affairs or, hiding something from your spouse. And, there's so much that easily pulls people apart. You have to continually build those bridges to each other. And that means, getting to know who you are, as you evolve, getting to know the people around you so you can continue building those bridges of connection. with you. Watch for slipping back into reactive biases, prejudices, or condemnations if they're if those things are growing within you. Just be very careful, try to check yourself, and come to the discussion table with questioning yourself, like, okay, that's interesting. I'm feeling anger that they're saying that. Where do I feel this anger? Why do I feel this anger? What is this anger trying to tell me? So you're coming to the discussion table with more of a curiosity rather than any kind of intention or goal or agenda. And also, you want to learn yourself. Like I said, when we're comfortable is not when we grow. It's when we're uncomfortable. So is this an area maybe I can be a little bit more open to and grow, So repeatedly go over the steps again as often as you need them to maintain that, connection that you want. And I tell people all the time, you don't want to come to the table under the thought of a disagreement or an argument. The intention, the overall goal is to connect. If you want somebody in your life, if you want them in your circle, are they going to frustrate you? 100%. Are they going to disappoint you? 100%. Are they going to anger you? 100%. So find ways to connect with them. So I hope some of these tips gave you some ideas for possibly moving forward in some relationships and dynamics. And if not, you can have them in your toolbox for, future relationships. So I hope you got something out of this class, and I wish you the best of this upcoming holiday.